right here. Y'all got here early. You like that, Josh? They were right here, up and early. We got to be about voting.
Knowing the person you're voting for.
And we got to be about making sure that we communicate. As the rep said, we knock on these doors, we make these phone calls. Josh, I was with Representative Cephas a couple hours ago. We were doing phone banking over into the 34th Ward, about 12 or 13 committee people, making it happen. But West Philadelphia's got to show out.
That's right.
If we show out, this is a done deal.
Done deal.
Josh Shapiro will be our next governor.
100%.
We will make history with Austin Davis being our first African-American lieutenant governor. And John Fetterman, everybody just call him by his last name, Fetterman, Big John Fetterman. Big John Fetterman.
Big John Fetterman.
He's big, he ain't not a little guy, he's a big guy. And that's all right, Big John Fetterman will go down to Washington and show the folks down in Washington why we got to hold all of this together and why we got to make progress from a national level. But I want to speak to you about something very specific that probably everyone here remembers and why this is important. You will remember the first year of the Corbett administration. Y'all remember Governor Corbett?
Don't remind us.
One-term time?
Yes.
You remember him?
Yes. Yes.
He cut he cut the education budget by $1 billion.
We know that. With a B.
With a B.
Do you now just go back into your memory banks. Remember what it was like when so many of the schools in Philadelphia had to shut down. Remember what it was like when friends of yours, teachers and school bus drivers and school nurses and school counselors and secretaries in the schools all wound up losing their jobs. And in fact, in that year, 27,000 educational professionals, teachers, bus drivers, the whole group, lost their jobs all across Pennsylvania. That was with a $1 billion cut in public education funding. Check out Mastriano's website. He wants to cut education by 50%. That is probably, depending upon how you want to count the numbers, that is probably about a $10 billion cut in public education. Think about what we went through 11 years ago.
10 times.
With just $1 billion cut. Think about what life would be like for us, our children, our families, all of us, if we get that times 10.
I can't.
Unacceptable.
No, it's not going to be.
Unacceptable. Anyone who's prepared to put our children and the people who teach them, and you know, I know a little something about teaching. Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays night at 9 p.m.
That's right. Every
You know
Wednesday.
a little bit something about teaching. Okay? All right? All right. Anybody who is prepared to put the education of our children on the line, at risk, does not deserve to be in the governor's office and should, I'm saying this, you stand over here, I'm saying this, should not be serving in public office anywhere. Because he was part of the insurrection on January 6th.
Yes.
Now, the campaign people gave me the microphone. I think
I'm ready.
I'm going to turn it over. I got to get them warmed up for you, man. I got to get them. I'm the hype man. That's what they call me, the hype man. All right. So that's what. Clearly. So that's just a little bit, but it's an extremely important thing that we've got to remember as we go forward these next 31 days to get this election done for Josh Shapiro,
Got to.
Austin Davis,
Yes.
and Big John Fetterman. Without any further ado, let's give the next governor of the state of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, a West Philadelphia round of applause. Come on, John.
Bench Hughes. Yo, Pete, you promised me the A-team. I thought Cheryl Ralph was showing up here, man. Come on. Let's put our hands together for the Cheryl Lee Ralph. She makes us proud. So does Senator Hughes, Rep. Krajewski, Pete Wilson, and all of you. I'm so grateful that y'all are here today. I'm grateful to see so many friends. Grateful to see my coach Cakes, who's here. Cakes is pretty famous now. You see him on the internet? Amazing. Amazing. But yo, I'm really, really grateful to be with all of you today. And I'm thankful that everybody came out. I want you to know that I had the pleasure of being able to get home last night. See our 4 children. You ever see my wife? She sent me out to work this morning the way she does oftentimes, not with a kiss and an I love you, babe, but rather a finger in my chest saying, you better win. That's what she said. Because I think she knows what's up. She knows what's on the line right now. She happy wife is happy life. Let me tell you, if she's happy, we're all going to be happy. We're all going to be happy. She's going to be a hell of a first lady, by the way, for Pennsylvania. Here's the thing. It's a time of real worry right now. I know that. From our kids' mental health to the violence, the unacceptable violence in our communities, to this feeling that like the foundation of it all is being ripped away from us. The foundation of our institutions that are supposed to be there to protect us are being taken away. But notwithstanding those challenges, I want you to know that I feel real optimistic right now. And I feel real hopeful because I see all of you and you give me hope. You really do. Every day. You give me the hope that we can build a coalition that's going to work together to invest in our public schools and give every kid a shot, no matter what zip code they come from. We can build that together. We can make sure our schools are safe and healthy with a mental health counselor. And how about we bring VOTEC back to our classrooms so we give our kids an opportunity to succeed. Not just enough to invest in those schools, we got to make sure when those kids walk to and from school, they got safe streets to walk down. So hear me on this, hear me on this. When I'm governor, we're going to hire more police for our community, but hang on, because people have a right to both be safe and feel safe in our community. So we're going to see police that are from the community, that are properly trained, that work hand in hand with our community groups to keep us safe, and that understand they got to get out of their patrol cars, walk the beat, learn the names of our children, and talk to the people who really run the neighborhoods. You know who that is? The grandmoms on their porches. They run the neighborhoods, and we got to make sure we build safe communities by working together. We need an economy that's going to lift everybody up, Rep. Brown. We got to make sure that we have communities where we make investment again. We got a great state senator who brings back the resources to West Philly, but we need to make sure no community is left behind. That every one of those kids, when we invest in their school, that they see a future in Philadelphia for them. We can do that work together if we believe in one another and we see opportunity. But we got to do it. We got to do it by working together and by having a governor who gives a damn, who's walked these communities, who understands the importance of investment and understands the value of life here. And we got to all stand together and give a damn together. We also need a governor who knows how to take on big fights and get things done. I've taken on those big fights. Just as those student loan companies I took to court and won and returned over $200 million in student debt forgiveness. Or how about those opioid companies? Now listen. I've arrested a whole bunch of drug dealers in these communities that are wreaking havoc in our neighborhoods, but we got to understand, it didn't start on our street corners.
Right.
It started because of the greed in those pharmaceutical company boardrooms. And I took them to court and won and brought over $1 billion back to these communities for treatment right here in Pennsylvania. Because understand, drug addiction is a disease, not a crime.
That's right.
And we got to treat it that way.
That's right.
We got to make sure we invest in making sure people are healthy. I've taken on the big fights. I'm the first AG to file criminal charges against those fracking companies for polluting our communities. And I am ready. I am ready now to take on the next big fight. Cakes, it happens in 30 days and a wake up. That next big fight is defeating Doug Mastriano in this election. This guy, let me tell you, let's be real, right? Real.
Keep it real.
This guy is unique. uniquely dangerous. Let me tell you something. He has said his number one priority, it's not fixing our schools, investing in public safety, growing our economy, caring about our kids. No, the number one priority, his words, not mine, of our lifetime, is to ban all abortion in Pennsylvania. Let me tell you something. 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 That's right. You say my body, my choice. I agree with that. He says my body, my choice is, quote, ridiculous nonsense. And let me tell you, this guy's so dangerous and extreme on this. He believes that there should be no exceptions, not in the case of rape or incest, to save the life of the woman. And he wants to go a step further. We learned this, Vince, last week. He says he wants to charge women with murder. Murder who have abortions to save their lives. Let me tell you something. When this legislature puts that bill on the desk of the next governor, he'll sign it into law. I'll veto it and trust the women of Pennsylvania to make decisions over their own bodies. Period. This guy is so dangerous and extreme. I came to West Philly today because I want to look you in the eye and ask you for your vote. You know where he's going for votes? He is the only candidate in the nation who is on a white supremacist website known as Gab, actively recruiting white supremacists to be part of his campaign. Literally paying for them to join his campaign. It shouldn't surprise us, because this is the same guy who, as a grown man just a few years ago, on the grounds of the U.S. Army War College, decided to wear the uniform of the Confederacy. By the way, Cakes, it wasn't some reenactment. He just literally wore it for a picture. Folks, remember, the people who wore the Confederate uniform were going to battle to defend slavery. They were the traitors. They were the ones killing Pennsylvania soldiers who were battling for freedom. This guy keeps telling us who he is. Austin Davis, you know, my running mate. By the way, he's going to be the first black lieutenant governor in the history of Pennsylvania. He's going to make history. Austin's grandmom says, when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
Right? Now, by the way, don't tell Austin I said this.
Maya
Angelou said it, right? But it's okay. It's okay. We'll give her credit. It's his grandma, right? But he keeps telling us who he is. By the way, he told us who he was on January 6th. He was there that day. But listen, he wasn't there that day just to hear a speech. He wasn't there that day to protest. You know why he was there? Because listen, when you cast your ballot in Philadelphia in 2020, you cast it here in Philly. It got tabulated by people here in the city of Philadelphia in the Bureau of Elections. Then it got certified at the state. But then, in order for your vote to actually count, it needs to be read across the desk in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's actually how it works. He went there that day to stop your vote from being counted. And he's already telling us what he wants to do next time in the next presidential race. He's told, my wife likes to say, he uses his inside voice outside all the time, right? He told us in 2024, next presidential race, that he wants to use his power as governor to review the voting logs and then decertify certain voting machines across Pennsylvania.
Of course.
Hey, Vince,
I'm not surprised at that.
what voting machines do you think he's coming for?
All the ones in the 6th Ward.
All the ones in the 6th Ward.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's trying to take away your vote.
Yeah.
But you know why? You know why he wears the Confederate uniform? You know why he recruits white supremacists? You know why he wants to control women's bodies? You know why he wants to take away your vote next time? Because he doesn't think you count. Because in Doug Mastriano's Pennsylvania, unless you think like him and look like him and vote like him and pray like him and marry like him, you don't count. Here's my view. No matter what you look like, where you come from, who you love or who you pray to, you count in Pennsylvania, and I want to be your governor. We got a lot of work to do now. We got a lot of work to do now. If we want to defend freedom, not the kind of freedom that guy talks about, but real freedom, the kind of freedom where we invest in that young boy who wasn't going to have a shot and give him a good school to go to, teach him to be a welder, Let them open up a small business here in West Philly and hire a bunch of people.
Absolutely.
They're going to go out and marry who they love and live in a safe community, a place where they can breathe the air. If we want real freedom like that, then we got to organize and mobilize, the way our ancestors did and their ancestors did. Because you see, they've been a part of building this democracy that we're leaning on. Something that started 246 years ago right down the road, not far from here. And I'm here today not just to ask you for your vote for Josh Shapiro, Austin Davis, John Fetterman, Vince Hughes, Rick Krajewski, and others. I'm here to ask you to do your part to defend our democracy and our freedom.
Use your power. Vote.
This is way bigger than me. My name may be on the ballot, but it's your rights and future that's on the line right now. And we have a responsibility to those who came before us to pick up the baton and do this work right now. To make sure that our children, like these two young girls right here, that our children have an opportunity to succeed and live in a world that's better than the way we found it. We got a lot of work to do and a lot of responsibilities. And that task falls to us right now. And so I came today not just to ask you for your vote, but to help you realize your voice, to help you understand your power and your responsibility to carry this forth to the next generation. We got to make our calls. We got to send our texts. We got to knock on those doors. We got to get out and vote. And we got to get out and vote not just for names on the ballot, but for the kind of community we want to live in, for what we value, to turn back against the anger and the division that the other side's bringing forth, and instead say, we want to be one Philadelphia, one Pennsylvania, where we lift everybody up and give everybody an opportunity, where we see all God's children for the great potential that they have, and recognize that we got to be all in this together as a group of people that give a damn and want to make our community stronger. Folks, I'm proud to be your nominee for governor. And if you can,
Yes, sir.
if you can just give me some hard work, some energy over these next 30 days and a wake up, I promise you I will bust my ass for you as your governor for the next 4 years. Thank you all very much. We got some work to do. Let's do it.
All right, so we would love if all of you would stay and be trained to canvass here in West Philly. As our future governor has just told you, it is vital we have boots on the ground. If you want West Philly to vote, you have to give them the information they deserve. Most of you know what is being spewed across Fox these days, and it's lies about Josh and it's lies about John. So go out, talk to your neighbors, make an impact. Thank you.